Well, I decided I'd come on here a little bit just to kind of go over another little step or two. And sure enough, sometimes I have to kind of read them in the book just to kind of know what I'm doing. And this is a point where we finally got along on the tails here. And as for the rest of this, I'd say there's other pieces to the work that come along, and I'd say that we're at a point where, from what I'm seeing, it's also where the next part is to kind of carve along the head. Have to be a little careful doing this because it's cross-grained, where it's like you see one direction the grain is going, it's going this way and you're carving this way, and so you kind of have to be careful how you do it. It was only in the past couple of years that I started doing this particular project. It took me years of experience with carving to get to where I could finally be experienced enough to go this far, and I'd say that this one just kind of has some steps to it that, like we say, kind of have to pay a little extra attention to where you're going, what you're doing. I say this is just how a little bit of a work in progress comes along, and I say, oh, the work we do and all we have. Oh, I say, like, this work shall be a little ways as of how we work about this. I come along just to carve the narrow lines, make it so we're going to see a little birdie come along and come down to where we see the place in it where we make the lines come easy and even, make it so we just come down. Now, with a little caution, I say, all we have to do is be careful what we do, be cautious what we do, watch what we say. I say that this little knife can come a long way, and like they warn us about it, cross grain can really mean something. Have a little bit to say as far as how video recording is going today. Not sure how the next couple of days are going to be, or how this coming week is going to be. I'm going to be getting used to my new cafeteria job this week in the new place where I'm going to be working, and so that's going to be something that's going to work for the good. We know that there's things that I discover about my new manager, how she's really all about just keeping things in order as they need to be. I tell you, and I will say that I don't know how much time I'm going to get for recording videos this week. Probably going to be kind of exhausted from getting into a new routine, but I'm going to be happy to finally get things back to normal in a couple of days. It'll be my first day working a regular shift in that cafeteria. People don't take into consideration that sometimes I'm just not used to getting up and waking up so early, but I'm having to get up early tomorrow because at one of the schools we have a meeting, and more than likely at our regular school we're going to get up Tuesday morning to kind of get things ready, because Wednesday morning we have to be ready to work and we have to be ready to feed those kids. We know that schools have a lot of meaning to us, share a lot of good things to us, tell us a lot of things that we wouldn't know had we not otherwise heard them. Sometimes I think back on how it was these days. There's a few of my teachers from high school from 25 years ago that I still keep in touch with on social media, and we know that times can definitely change for us, make it so we'll kind of see things a little different, you know. Finally got around to doing one little head here. There's going to be a little extra work to make the point on the top, but we're going to come along here, make this other top of a head here. Sometimes it's just a point where I don't know how much I am keeping my knives as sharp as they need to be, but that's how the work shall be coming along. It always is good to have an afternoon or two when it's a weekend and you can get around to doing a little bit more video recording of things and see just all the good ways that it's going to go for all of the hard type of work that you do. I say it's a little work in itself, making us see a little things from a point of view where we don't always know what it's going to be, what it's going to come to. And I say that sometimes, you know, there's a lot of differences in people. I say hopefully this year I've got a job that can exhaust me much less, give me more time to do a little more business related work. And what I would like to see is that some of you all might share some of my videos, you know. It'd be nice to have you all do that, I say. And as for a little work like this, I tell you all that there's going to be a little more time to advertise come down the line, and I'll just be saying so much more as we come down to it. And finally, we're making it so these birds have heads. I do want to tell you all that when I was a little kid, my grandmother had two little ceramic birds. I'd pick them up and play with them, but couldn't always understand the fragility of them. But there were a couple of boys she babysat when they were really little. They were teenagers by the time I was grown and getting those birds out of her drawer, but she could always tell me all about how those boys, you know, gave her those when they were very little, why they were all special and precious. And I tell y'all, it's always hard to understand where little kids come from when they see those little things. And I tell y'all that sometimes things are always going to be of precious sentiment to some people. I'd say as far as what we've done here, we've gotten the heads to come along right. I say that this is a little work in itself. Make us see how it is. And I think I've probably put enough time into this video here. Feel like my hands are getting a little bit tired and exhausted. Need I say more? But There'll be a lot of random topics to discuss. Come along what may, and I say that there's little ways in life that we come along, see how we do, and when I get up, I'm going to be brushing off all these chips here. That basswood is a good soft carving wood. I really like working with it. These cardinals, I say, for the kind of work they are, some of those little Santas that come from that pattern, I might have been able to make them from cherry and walnut, no telling what else. I'd say cherry or Paduke would be good for these cardinals, but it would be a good color for them, but cherry in particular would be a little too hard to carve these cardinals from, given what it takes to carve them. I appreciate you all coming on, checking this video out, seeing what I have to say. Like I said, don't know how these next few days are going to go, but I'm going to just upload this video and hopefully get a chance to see you in the next. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.